everyone, welcome back to my Taiwan Travel Journal Series. Today, I'll be creating a scrapbook travel journal spread for our last day in Taipei. This day was a free day for our group, so my friend and I decided to indulge in one of our favorite hobbies, exploring stationery stores. Join me as I take you through the highlights of this memorable day and show you how I capture it in my journal. Now let's start capturing these cherished memories. For our first spread, I'm incorporating an illustrated map of Taipei that I got from a hotel to highlight the route we took that day. Using maps is a great way to visually represent your travel adventures and give context to the journey. To bring the story to life, I'll add this adorable Studio Ghibli wooden stamp of a girl walking. Since our first activity was walking from the hotel to the Eslite Bookstore, it feels like the perfect touch. I'll stamp the image onto a scrap piece of paper, fussy cut it, and add some color, and then paste it into the map like a handmade sticker. It's a simple way to customize your embellishments and tie them directly to your experience. Next, I'll add these location icon stickers to mark the places we visited, such as the Eslite Bookstore and Breeze Center, where Kinokuniya and Tokyu Hands are located. These stickers act as a visual markers and make the spread interactive and fun to look at. To ensure there's a space for journaling, I'll paste a cute memo pad on the upper left portion of the spread. Memo pads are not only practical but also add a pop of design to the layout. Here, I'll write about our experience navigating to find a sleep bookstore, how we initially got lost but thankfully managed to find our way. Now let's move on to the next spread, where I'll bring together photos, ephemera, and stamps to capture our memorable experience at the Eslite Bookstore. This spread will feature photos at the Eslite Bookstore, our breakfast at the Eslite Cafe, and pieces of ephemera such as the Eslite Cafe business card and receipts from both our breakfast and stationery hall. Including ephemera adds a meaningful tactile layer to the journaling process and enhances the memory keeping aspect of your spreads. These little pieces of our trip act like souvenirs, helping to tell a fuller story. I'll begin by arranging the larger elements, like the photos and business card, to decide on the layout. A tip when arranging your layout is to consider visual flow. Stagger the placement of photos and ephemera to guide the viewer's eye across the spread naturally. Once I'm happy with the composition, I'll attach the Sleek Cafe business card as a tip-in using Muji washi tapes with the blue pattern that complements the card's design. Tip-ins are a great way to maximize journaling space while adding an interactive layered element to your spreads. They're perfect for preserving bulky items like business cards without covering too much of your page. To highlight our stationery adventure, I'll incorporate the All the Paper Clear stamp by Everyday Explorers. Instead of stamping directly onto the page, I'll first stamp it into a piece of taupe paper to create a sticker-like effect. Then I'll cut it out and adhere it to the lower right corner of the photo for added dimension. This technique not only highlights the photo but also adds texture to the spread, giving it a layered look. So if you're experimenting with stamping, this approach also gives you more control over placement and reduces the risk of smudging on your main layout. I'll also use smaller decorative elements to add charm and cohesion. For instance, Fujiya sticker flakes of coffee and bread are perfect for complementing the Sleek Cafe photos, adding a whimsical and playful touch. I'll fill in any gaps with washi tape, strips, and additional stickers to maintain visual balance. A tip is to layer smaller accents over blank areas or along photo edges to create texture and dimension without overwhelming the spread. When layering photos and ephemera, I like to tilt them slightly or overlap them at varying angles. This technique creates depth and visual interest while keeping the spread dynamic. I also make sure to leave intentional spaces for journaling by grouping decorative elements on one side and writing space on the other. To complete the layout, I'll add a final mix of stamps, stickers, and washi tape as decorative accents. I find that using elements with similar color or patterns like the Muji washi tape, taupe paper stamp cutouts, and Fujiya stickers helps tie everything together for a polished look. So journaling spreads like this not only preserve memories but also allow you to relive the moment as you bring the layout together. Take your time, experiment with your arrangement, and let your creativity flow. After all, the process is just as enjoyable as the finished result. For journaling space, I'll use the area beneath the tip-in to write about what we ordered at Eslite Cafe, the cozy and welcoming and how much we enjoy dining there. I'll mention specific details like how relaxing it was to start the day with breakfast there. These small details help bring the memory to life and make the journaling feel more vivid. Beneath the receipt for the stationery haul, I'll write about our experience exploring Eslite's stationery section, which felt like a treasure trove for creative journaling enthusiasts. I'll describe how I discovered the adorable Misha wooden stamps and why I couldn't resist adding them to my collection. Adding reflections like this give the journaling more depth and captures the emotions tied to the experience, not just the events themselves. On this next spread, I'm adding the Kinokuniya Visitor's Guide to the left page. This guide includes photos and information about the famous bookstore and fits perfectly to the height of a traveler's notebook insert. One of the reasons I love using a TN insert as a travel journal is that the length of many brochures like this one aligns so well with the size of the pages. It saves time trimming while still looking polished and proportional to the layout. For tips, if a brochure is slightly larger, you can fold or trim it neatly to maintain its visual balance. On the right page, I'm adding a photo of the Hands Tailong or Tokyu Hands storefront in Taipei, a photo of my meal at Panos, and the Panos business card. Including ephemera like the business cards or receipts adds a lot of personality and makes your journal feel more like a time capsule. To decorate, I'm stamping a circle stamp from Everyday Explorers that says I could spend hours in here. This perfectly reflects how we felt exploring the store. I'm also using a Misha wooden stamp of a girl eating, which I purchased from Eslite. Here, I'm writing about our experience window shopping at Kinokuniya and Hands. Even though we didn't buy much, we still enjoyed browsing the amazing selection of books, stationery, and unique items. When arranging elements, I always take time to play around with the layout before committing to gluing them down. A tip is to start with bigger pieces like photos or brochure and then work your way to the smaller accents. This helps create a balanced composition. I also make sure to leave intentional spaces for journaling by attaching elements like business cards as tip-ins or positioning photos to leave room for writing underneath. To finish off the spread, I'm using smaller decorative touches like stickers and washi tape to tie everything together. When choosing decorative elements, I try to match colors or themes to the story I'm telling to the spread. For instance, I'm using washi tape with shades of blue to coordinate with the yellow Panos business card and keep the spread cohesive. Journaling is all about capturing memories in a way that feels meaningful and fun. So don't be afraid to experiment with layering colors and textures. It's okay if a layout doesn't feel perfect because the important thing is that it tells your story. Now for our last spread, I want to create a layout that ties everything together and captures the final moments and reflections of the trip. On the left page, I'll start by adding a photo of the Calpis drink and the 7-Eleven receipt from when I bought it. It was my first time trying Calpis and it feels special to include that moment as a small but meaningful souvenir. Including receipts and little keepsakes like this helps capture the everyday experience that make each trip unique, even if the receipts fade over time. For me, it's not just about preserving the actual receipt, but about the memories tied to it. To add dimension, I'll layer the receipt and photo for a more dynamic look. Next, I'll include my plane ticket for the return flight to Manila. Tickets are perfect mementos that mark significant transitions like heading home after an adventure. Alongside the ticket, I'll add a photo of my in-flight meal, centering it on the page to highlight the dining experience. For a decorative touch, I'll add a cutout of a small airplane icon from a brochure and layer it with a ticket. Icons like this tie into a travel theme and enhance the overall aesthetic of the spread. The right page is dedicated to reflection, which is how I love to add my travel journals. Reflections provide an opportunity to capture emotions, lessons, and cherish memories. To decorate the page, I'm using a beautiful butterfly illustration cut out from a brochure. The butterfly adds a soft and elegant touch, symbolizing transformation and the freedom of travel. For the title, I'll use an alphabet stencil from the Travelers Company to neatly spell out reflection. Stencils are great tools for creating clean, consistent lettering without the pressure of freehand drawing. Beneath the title, I'll add a strip of washi tape for a pop of color and texture, balancing the page composition. For the reflection itself, I'm writing that this was my first international trip with my soul sister, and I'm so grateful we had the chance to explore Taiwan together. The trip was well organized thanks to my mom who made all the arrangements, and to our travel guide Alice who made everything so smooth and enjoyable. I also wish my parents could have joined us on this journey. Taipei has a charm that makes me want to come back and discover more. I like keeping my reflection pages simple so the focus stays on the journaling. While writing reflection, you can use journaling prompts or questions to guide your thoughts, such as what surprised me most about this trip or what was my favorite memory. And that's a wrap of our last day in Taiwan. If you haven't seen the other videos in this travel journal series, please check out the links in the description box below. And stay tuned for our next video where we will decorate the journal cover and do a complete flip through of this journal. So before we go, I'd love to know, are you a travel journaler? What unique ways do you preserve your memories? Share your favorite tips in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more travel journal inspiration. Happy journaling! Bye!